and today we have a special discussion topic today and a special guest. Say hello to the Minish Cap. Say hi.
Hello, everybody.
So I'm
If
gonna,
if anybody has seen our previous streams together,
yeah,
we've been doing
they'll,
It Takes Two.
yeah.
So
Look out for our co-op. It Takes Two VODs. There's a playlist
yeah,
on my
and
channel.
soon we might be playing Vermintide.
Yeah. Hey Goku. Hey, hold up. How you doing? I'm gonna
Hey, man.
set you. So allow me to set up you guys with today's special discussion topic. It is social life, social lifestyles. Um, Today we live in a time where, like, let's say you're an adult, right? It's incredibly difficult to be social, and let us explore why. Let us not be lazy and say, lol, sweaty, go outside. Let us actually explore this topic together and figure out the root of the problem. Goku, we are having a discussion topic. If you have any questions at all about life, like social life, being social in the real world, if you have any questions related to that, let me know. Put in the comments below, and I will get to it as soon as I can. But for now, by the way, let me check real quick, okay? Minish, your voice was on share still, right? Just double
Yeah,
check.
it should be. Like,
Perfect,
Goku,
perfect.
can you hear me? Let me know if you text you because I don't have your stream up, bro.
Yeah, I just want to double check. Um, anyways, here, I'll sample it. I'll sample it. I got earbuds.
Wow.
I'll get and go grab my earbuds from the backpack. We gotta sample this real quick before I let
Yeah, we gotta make sure that my voice is coming through.
my boy's beautiful voice. What's up? We gotta hear it.
Hello.
Hero. Origato sayamasu. Ichiban, Domaru, Baka Baka Baka, Unchicheku.
Arigato.
Don't even look up what I just said online, by the way.
I I wouldn't know how to spell it even if I did.
Oh, don't ask me. I'll teach you how to spell it. um. Okay. Let's see. I'm listening. Okay. Oh wait, it's muted. Okay, say something real quick.
Hello. Did that come through?
Okay, yeah. We can hear you. We can hear you perfectly fine. Okay,
Awesome.
we're perfect. So here's the deal. I see a comment. Um. Okay, so Goki, here's how it's gonna work. Okay, I see your comment. Now, what we're gonna do here is I'm gonna let my friend here, my guest, my brother
Hello.
from another mother, um, we're gonna let the Minish Cap introduce us to the social lifestyle or the social life topic and get his perspective, and then I'll read, then I'll like go through your comments. Okay? Does that sound fair?
Where at?
Minish Cap, are you there? Are you ready?
Yeah, hold on. I'm upstairs. They're having a
Oh,
conversation around me.
oh fuck. I'll read this comment question real quick then. Um, is it normal to work out as a teen or a kid? What do you mean by workout? Do you mean exercise? Is like, could you explain what you mean by that question? Like, are you talking about like, are you talking about physical activity? Are you talking about running and lifting weights and stuff? Is that what you're talking about? Like doing a sport? Like, help me out. Look how terrible my hair is, guys. Guys, wouldn't you like to see my hair like this? Yeah, exercise. Yeah, it's totally normal. It's totally normal. Dude, you're as a teenager, you're constantly growing. take advantage of that. Run, lift weights, play sports. Try to join a team if you can. Those things are very normal and very good for your physical health and for your mental health, right? Your physical health is linked to your mental health. So if you can like take some time out of your life each day and do some stretches or lift, some weights, do it. Like,
All right, I'm back.
one moment,
And
please.
I agree. Proper exercise and a good diet is quite important.
And you're right,
I
Goku.
unfortunately have done neither of those things, and I regret my life.
Hey,
But
I don't do as much as I
not
should.
really. I don't want to live with any regrets, but
I don't do as much as I
grateful.
should, to be fair. But let's see here. He says like doing push-ups, weights, running taekwondo. Yeah, exactly. Just be physically active as much as you're able to, as much as you have time for. So I'm gonna bring it to the Minish Cap. Yo, dog, what
Yeah.
is the deal with social life from your perspective? Walk us through this, and let's see
Like
where we
my
can go
social
from there.
life, or
Like, what does social life mean to you in today's world?
it generally means like who you hang out with, and you know,
So
generally,
when I say that,
I don't.
I mean in general,
Sorry, I'm
like
not.
not any specific, like what's like. Think about the years you've been alive recently. Like, what do you typically do when you want to socialize, for example? Let's start with that.
Well, I probably just hop on here and talk to some friends, but realistically, the reason why I do that is because I don't have friends near me, or not,
So,
and or I can't drive to them because I don't have a car. But
mm-hmm.
that's my unique situation, and everyone has their
so,
own.
so what you're describing is, which is fairly common with young people today in America, North America to be specific,
Yeah.
which is that the only easy avenue for young people to socialize, that doesn't cost a lot of money or time, is just to be online. And
Yeah.
that is fine, okay? That's fine. I'm not gonna trash talk anyone for being social online. I'm chronically online. I'm online way more often than I should be. My point is, look, guys, we gotta come back to tradition and figure out ways to be social where it matters, the real world. Now,
Yeah.
you explained two problems that even I find to be very challenging. As a 36-year-old, it's very challenging to meet new adults to hang out with. If there's like nothing to do in your hometown, there's terrible transportation, so it's really hard to meet up with people if you guys don't all have automobiles. Um,
Yeah. It's
Literally, it honestly, depending on where you live, it feels like you're in what I would describe to be a desert. Not in a literal sense, but metaphor, like a
yeah. No, I
social
get you. I
desert
get you.
with no signs of meaningful conversation or companionship. And I'm just thinking like, okay, could you give me an example of a real
Oh,
life
shouldn't have done that.
social event and how you felt about
Oh,
it?
nothing I needed. Okay, say that again.
Give me an example of the last time you socialized in the real world and how did it go?
Well, I technically socialize all day when I'm at work. Not this last time because I wasn't being a cashier, but generally that's where I get my in-person social stuff with. I go on about my life and some experiences, or I just ask them about something that I see on them, like a tattoo or it's part of their outfit or something that I seen on the graphic on their T-shirt or something. I usually
Mm.
just try and make little like small talk.
Small talk, yes.
Yeah,
It's
I like to
fairly
have nice,
it's
engaging conversations.
it's actually fairly common in America. Um I will say, I will ask you, what do you think what do you think your community needs to get you motivated to socialize outside of, let's say, your home and your place of employment? A third place. They call this a third place, which is a place.
Well,
What would that?
I don't know, somewhere
What would
where
you need to be able to motivate you to seek this third place out?
I don't know, people that wanted to meet up with me more often and like that aren't hard to get a hold of, but that's just people.
Mm-hmm. Like
Being
what?
honest.
Like, for example, would you want better transportation options? Would you want?
Honestly, just a really nice and reliable public transportation system for suburbs, because we don't get that.
Nah, the way.
I don't get like a metro that I can just go to. Apparently, there's one down at the church that I'm near, and like a bus stops there every so often, but that's not good enough. That
Dude,
doesn't sound good enough at all.
well, it's because the thing about the suburban, I'm opening up a screenshot to describe it to you, because as a former, 1 second, as a former architectural designer, I'm fully aware of the damage that a suburban community can cause to young people's ability to build social skills in their early years of life. Because if you go to Google Images and you search up suburban hellscape, look at the pictures. And I want you to imagine being like 14 years old and you live in one of the houses in the middle of that screenshot. How the hell are you going to go to the nearest anything worth doing? You know? How? How? You're like, depending on where you live, you're like 40 minutes to an hour by walking. It's
Yeah,
impractical.
luckily I don't have that. I'm not in that deep, but like any good place around me is around a mile away.
Got,
If
yeah.
I'm being a little like if I'm going based on just miles.
Well, guys, let me describe to you, if you don't know what a suburban neighborhood looks like, right? Let me describe it to you, because a lot of people live in urban environments, right?
Yeah,
Um,
there's also and then there's
so,
rural, but
well,
that's different.
let's focus on suburban, because it's
Yeah,
the bigger
that's where I live.
problem. It's the biggest problem, in my opinion, in North America. So here it goes. I'm looking at a screenshot. Rows, wide streets. Listen to this, guys. Wide streets made for cars. Houses that look exactly the same, detached, like little tiny islands. Little tiny islands. They're not connected in any way. They have their separate, completely separate power grid, or sorry, power, water, sewage. Everything about it is completely isolated from the neighbor sitting next to them. So you've got
Not
these.
always, but yes.
So I'm just running it down for them. So
Yeah.
you've got these houses that act as little tiny social islands that separate you from the rest of the city, right? And these enclaves, right? These suburban enclaves, as some people like to call it. Let's be real for a second. Let's not beat around the bush. These were designed for middle class people so that they don't have to look at the fact that poor people exist in their city. Okay, let's be
Ouch.
honest.
That's all I'm gonna say is ouch. I never thought about it like that.
Think about how suburban cities are designed. They're clearly separated from apartment units. They're clearly separated from the downtown area.
Yeah.
They're designed in such a way that's literally impractical to go anywhere in your city without an automobile. It's done intentionally because it segregates poor people from everyone else.
Yeah. I see that.
It's just a form of social control. Now,
You know,
ironically,
you're opening my eyes to a lot of things that I actually did not even think about because I've just been living my life.
well, yeah, it helps to talk to different people. Like I'm talking to you, I'm trying to learn from you, and you maybe you're learning from me, which is nice.
Yeah.
And then what if I were to tell you? What if I were to tell you that in America, let's say America, I'm not going to say in any other countries, guys. What if I were to
America
tell you,
referring to the U.S.
yeah, the United States. Let's say the United States. Anyways, in the United States, what if I were to tell you there is not one single suburban community that earns the city money?
Hmm.
What would you say to that?
Me?
In
Well,
fact,
obviously me. Who the else are you talking to?
I'm talking to you. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying.
Don't don't worry about the semantics. So, what do you think? What do you think if I were to tell you that suburban communities
Very interesting.
cost the city money, resources, and space? They do not earn the city money, and if they do earn the city money, it's because they have some high it's because they're sharing the same space as higher density apartment units, which house a lot more people per square kilometer than a suburban community, right? What's the average occupancy of a suburban house? Like four and a half people, two parents, two and a half children on average, 4 to 5 people, tops. That is not going to make as much money per square kilometer as medium density suburban houses or high density apartment units. It's just the math never adds up in favor of a suburban community. But the thing is, Americans are so in love with the with this pseudo American dream of owning, a suburban house with the white picket fence and the dog and and the 2 cars and the 2.5 children. It's like, first of all, that's not the American dream. You want me to read the actual American dream to you?
Oh, and it's bullshit too. I've heard it already. Like,
Well,
trust
for
me, viewers, it's not.
would you like me to tell our viewers what the actual
Yes,
American
tell
dream
them.
entails? All right,
Tell them.
guys.
They
All
deserve to
right.
know.
For the young people, I watching this VOD, I'm trying to educate you guys. So here it goes. The American dream is the ideal by which equality of opportunity is available to any American, allowing the highest aspirations and goals to be achieved. That says nothing about owning property. This says nothing about owning automobiles or firearms. Okay? That says nothing about being married. Okay? That's it's referring to a meritocracy, right? Where every American has the opportunity to be successful and reach their highest goals if they work hard enough, essentially, right? Listen, unless you're 5 years old right now, you know that's a lie.
Unless you're 5 years old or you're lying to yourself, we don't live in a meritocracy. We live in a genotocracy. Okay? Do you know what a
Okay,
genotocracy
you're
is?
saying words that I have no idea what they mean.
Well, let me help you. Okay, so in case my viewers don't know, a genotocracy, which I think I need to double check if I pronounced the word correctly.
Nope, did not mean to do that.
Oh, here's. Let me make sure it's gerontocracy. My bad. Okay,
So if you want to know, viewers, Minish Cap, if you want to know what let me say this again. Gerontocracy. My bad. Gerontocracy. So basically, according to the dictionary, it is a state, society, or group governed by old people. Now, what is the age of Joe Biden?
Oh shit.
80 years old.
Yeah, and that's considered an old person, obviously.
My point, and that's just the president. Who is your, which state do you live in?
Minnesota. Where's that 100 wood gone? Not that I really needed. Keep that on there. Oh, I'm fucking dumb. I just ate raw meat. That's hilarious. Alright.
Okay, so your governor is named Tim Walz, and his current age is 59.
50?
59.
Jesus.
That means next
didn't know
year
that.
he'll be 60, which is not nearly as old as Joe Biden, but it kind of goes along with the average age of a leader is a lot older than the average age of a voter, or the average age of an American adult, which is somewhere in the 30s, right? So we're being led by people who are literally, in some cases, old enough to be retired legally. Now, hear me out. I'm not telling you that if you're like 65 years old that you're not allowed to work for a living. I'm just saying, look, if you are pushing 60 plus years old in age, please open up your fucking mind and learn how the average American's living their fucking life. You know? Learn. Be empathetic. Okay? Listen, we don't live in the 1960s. We don't live in the 1980s. We live in 2023. Okay? We have to deal with an international market and automation. Okay? We have challenges. Now, like, seriously, like, there's a reason why, statistically less than half of all American voters choose to vote. It's because they have nothing, right? You have nothing in common with your mayor. You have nothing in common with your governor or any leader, in fact, right? Are you there?
Wait, sorry. I was focusing on something else. What are you saying?
I was saying, like, you literally have nothing in common with your local state leadership, right?
Yeah.
So it makes sense why it's so hard to socialize, because the people who are leading our communities, they grew up in a time where being social was considered different. So that's why, I mean, let me ask you your opinion, okay? So, have you ever had old people talk down to you?
At times.
They try to tell you how the world
me,
works, or tell you how you ought to act. I can give you an example if you
Yeah.
want, and then you could give me an example. I'll start first, okay?
Okay.
So I went to a local restaurant to get a it's called a vada pav, guys. It's basically a fried potato sandwich, and I got it with some avocado, right? So it's basically a fried potato sandwich with avocado, right? And some really lovely sauce. And I was eating, and I was all happy. And this elderly person, God bless his soul, I don't know where the hell he came from, okay? He was like, "Oh, you'd probably be a homeowner if you'd stop eating avocado." This sandwich was like, by the way, this sandwich was like $3.50 or some shit like that. It was like between $3 and $4, right? And this motherfucker's like, if you'd stop buying avocado, you'd be a homeowner right now. Okay? And I'm thinking to myself, like, that's not how life works. Okay? That's not how life works. Like, trust me, go to a bank, try to get a loan for a house. It's not that easy. You have to have so much money, guys. You have, when people say, "Oh, just shut the fuck up.
be humble and you'll be a homeowner. It's like, no, not in this economy. You're probably gonna have to cheat a little bit to be a homeowner. I think. But in your opinion, give me your example of like what part of life do you think like w- it just feels frustrating, right? It just feels frustrating. Give me an example of a point of frustration with being social in today's world. Like what gets you going, right? God, my legs. Are you there? Oh my God,
Okay, I'm
dude,
sorry.
you're spacing out, my friend. It's okay. It's okay. We got weed. We got weed. We hooked him up with some weed. Anyways,
No,
um,
no, hold on. I'm just. It's just.
shout out
It's
to
not.
Stizzy.
No.
Shout out to Stizzy Live Resin. Anyways, yeah, come on, give me an example. Help me out. What
Okay, I need to listen to it. Go ahead and say it now.
what is so difficult about being social in our real worlds? What roadblocks are keeping you from being a more like connected with your community? What are the roadblocks? What can we do? Act like I'm the mayor. What can I do for you?
Um, Give me a car. I don't know.
So what you're basically saying is young people need more transportation options, right?
Yeah. Um, that is very important right here because getting to places where we need to go is hard enough. Like without
Mm-hmm.
a mode of transportation is hard. It's hard enough with a car, but even then, without one, it's just impossible almost.
Yeah, because everything's spaced out to support automobiles.
I mean, I can walk to a few different places that will provide me with food and stuff, but ultimately, a lot of it's too far for me to, usually want to.
What do
Like,
you
under normal
think
circumstances, people
about
wouldn't really want to.
what do you think about personal transportation vehicles like bicycles, electric scooters? What do you think
I
about
think
those?
those are great, except that people steal them.
I don't know. I don't know how common that is.
Me
But
neither, but, you know.
my point. So what I'm saying. Oh, fuck. Well, you can worry about locking and insurance. That's its own thing. What I'm saying is like, do you think if like the state or the city made it easier for people to use bicycles or like more personal vehicles to get around, not full size cars, right? Maybe something smaller just for one person that can hold a limited amount of storage so that you could like maybe go to the store or you could go you know take some things to meet with a
Yeah.
friend. Do you think that would be a viable way to fix the problem? Because then it'll get young people out the door, and then at that point, it's on businesses to incentivize them to go to their stores and stuff.
Yeah. Um, because normally, like, once you turn 18, you basically lose your social life, because your social life was school,
Well, let me
for the most
guess
part.
why though. Because I already know why. Because
There's public transportation.
no,
I,
I'll tell you why.
well,
Here
I'm also
here,
kind of lost because I wasn't paying attention.
let me explain why. Because you know what? Funny story. I've been to a high school before. um,
Yeah, so everyone else.
so I figure I would give you my guess here. High school and elementary school, of course, are one of the few times in your life where you're literally being forced to socialize with other kids around your age.
Yeah.
When you become an adult, it's almost like they're just telling you, "Well, good luck." It's like playing it's like playing a video game. The tutorial ends, but they don't give you a campaign to go off of. They're
Oh,
just like,
yeah.
oh, do whatever you want, and you're just sitting there like, what do I want to do? And
Yeah,
you ought,
that's pretty accurate, not gonna lie.
yeah. So we gotta fix that. We gotta fix that. We can't just like. We gotta incentivize. We can't just demand people to be better. We gotta incentivize people to be better. We gotta incentivize people to be better by showing them that being social in our real world can have um, positive effects on your mental and physical health. Why do you think there's so many depressed people in our cities? Why do you think drug usage is so high? Why do you think um, all of these negative attributes are so high? Why do you figure? Go ahead. I'm gonna eat this little sandwich. Give me like your guess
Oh,
from your
I'm
age.
okay. You got
Like I want your perspective, right? Because
okay.
you see the world
I
differently.
I need you to repeat that because I was focusing on something else. I gotta remember that I'm the one being talked to.
Yeah. Please help follow along.
Sorry, I'm so sorry. I'm kind of ruining the stream this way.
Because it's okay. I'm sure the chat will help me out for future content. But
Yeah.
like, don't you agree that being social has positive attributes for your physical and
Yo,
mental
yes,
health?
very much so. It leads you to not have as much problems with depression and anxiety, provided, you didn't have that going in. Uh, just being social is... The thing is, humans are social beings.
By
We
nature.
can't... We're not... By nature. Yeah, we're not... It's not like... Something like, oh, no, you need to talk to somebody because... Boring otherwise. It's true, but...
Guys,
That doesn't change it. It's...
you want to do a fun social experiment to prove that people are naturally social? Go to a place with a lot of like foot traffic, right? A lot of people coming and going, right? And I want you to take like, let's say for example, look at a letter of a sign, right? And then like really examine it, right? But then kind of pay attention around you. I promise you, if you look in a certain direction long enough, other people are going to look in that same direction.
Yeah, especially if you look inquisitive. So if you're like,
Like,
if you like put your hand on your chin
like
and kind of like
like
sit there like you're trying to figure something out, they'll be
yeah,
like, "Hey, what
see,
you doing?"
exactly. It's natural. It's inbuilt. Like
Yeah,
that's what we do. Because in the wild, right? Think about it in the wild, okay? If one person sees a wild predator, then you want to know where that wild predator is. Because you don't want to get mauled by a bear, right? You don't
yeah,
want to get taken out by a tiger. But we live in a 21st century, 2023. Whereas, I mean, in a sense, we're basically removed from nature. So we have to
yeah,
use our senses in different ways. We have to use our naturally social senses and tendencies to in more of a modern context, right? We did touch on. I did touch on social media in the previous. Let's talk social media. Let me get deeper into social media with the Minish Cat for a second, okay? Do
okay.
you feel that the things you do online are designed to keep you online, or do you actually just want to be online? Like, do you get this sense that something's just pulling you? It's pulling your attention. It's keeping you online.
Yeah,
Notifications, infinite
I
scroll,
will, I will bring
recommended
up
feeds.
something. I will bring up something.
Go ahead. I'm gonna
I
eat.
actually
Take
do
your
not
time.
use social media because I never really believed in it. I like talking to people like in person because it was more fun that way because you could fully interact with somebody. Like posting pictures about my life, I didn't feel like my life was interesting enough for people to care. I mean, I sit around and play video games all the time, and the only people that I think find my life interesting are the people that are close to me. And while they are all on social media, it personally, I don't really believe in it. It's I'd rather sit down in a coffee shop with a friend than sit there and post a bikini pic at from what's a famous beach? I don't know. Just like a famous beach or something. I don't know.
Long
Like
Beach.
yeah. I I don't get it. It's like I understand showing important moments, but so far I haven't had very many important moments that were worth sharing. Then again,
So
probably my family would like to know.
you mentioned a cafe, which is honestly it's a perfect example of what is commonly described as a third social place when it comes a third place that humans typically likely to go. Guys, a third when I talk about like this third social place, I'm not talking about your home, okay? You
No.
act differently in your home than when you're outside. You act differently at your workplace than you would at a cafe. So when we talk about this third social gathering point, we're literally talking about places like cafes, the park, amusement parks, um, arcades. I used to go to arcades back in the day. Um, at the movie theaters. Another thing, a movie theater, going to the movies in person, right? That's a
So
perfect
much
example.
better.
Let's talk about that for a second. What was the last movie you saw at the cinema?
Overactor, I'm good.
What was it?
The last movie I watched? Ah, shit. I actually really wish I could tell you.
Do you remember the name at all? I could look up
No.
the year.
Ah, you shitbag.
Dang, it's been that long. You want me to tell you what movie I saw then?
Let me see if I can.
Here it is. Would you like me to tell you the last movie I watched at the cinema?
Go ahead, say it. This is the shit. There.
Avengers Endgame.
Oh.
That's right, guys. That's right. Do the math. If you guys are familiar with Marvel movies, the Avengers Endgame came out in 2019. That's like 3-4 years ago. It's been a long time. And movies feel different. You agree, right? Movies feel different when you go to a theater, right? A cinema,
Yeah.
right?
Oh, it's so much better. The atmosphere is so much better.
The social experience of seeing something amazing and knowing other people are reacting to it as well.
Yeah.
Guys, it cannot be replicated at home while not watching Netflix. It just can't.
Unless you really have your own home theater, in which case, good on you.
Well, I mean, if you're that wealthy, first of all, you're disconnected from the average working American anyways. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter. At that point, which, we are what I would like to call socially polarized, right? I could look up the definition. I believe I'm correct for saying this, right? Social polarization is a real thing. And let us read it together.
All right, read it.
I'm trying to spell the word.
Oh.
Here's social polarization. Okay, so we're not just teaching you, Minish Cap, we're also teaching the viewers as well. In case, you already know these concepts already, okay?
Yeah. Actually,
So-
you're getting into concepts that I've never actually really heard about that
This
well.
is perfect. This is valuable content for people.
Yeah.
So here it
You're-
goes.
you're-
Huh?
You're talking to somebody that has never used these terms in his everyday life at all.
Well, the thing is, my goal is to help. I'm not trying to talk down to people. Obviously, I'm not saying, oh, lol, go outside, sweaty, make friends. Go outside, please. No, I'm not doing that. But, okay, so let's explain social polarization for the chat and you. Social polarization is the segregation within a society that emerges when factors such as income inequality, real estate fluctuations, and economic displacement result in the differentiation
of social groups from high income to low income. So the natural separation of your various types of people, the rich from the poor, right?
Yeah.
And then it can break down to other factors such as whether or not you're religious or whether or not you're like part of like a very specific niche group of interest, like for example people who are like super into Japanese culture. There's a slang term, you already know, it's called weeb, and they kind of self isolate themselves amongst other weebs, sorry, air quote weebs. And so yeah, this natural separation needs to be reversed. Otherwise, you could see our society just fall apart, right? Wouldn't it be fair?
Yeah, it wouldn't be very good for any of us. At
Like,
least I don't think so.
yeah, so like, I personally think, now I'm thinking like, how can you and I, from a personal level, enact that change? How, like, tell me, like, let's say I want to spend a few years of my life trying to put these pieces back together, right? What do you think you would like me to do to get started? Like, we've already talked about transportation. Transportation is, in my opinion, you know what? It's not just the determining factor of whether or not you can be social. Transportation literally determines whether or not you can escape poverty also. Right? Think about it. If the only job you can get is in another town, how are you going to get there? Right? Doesn't it seem strange that there's so many situations where you live that you just basically have to leave town? You ever notice that? Or is that just me?
You have to say that again. What? I just got scared the fuck out of.
Wow, dude. Okay, Grandpa.
No, I just got scared.
I'm trying to ask you, haven't you noticed there's so many situations where you basically have to leave town? You have to, there's something
Yeah, I
you
had to
want to
leave my
do.
neighborhood and stuff.
There's something you want to do. There's something you want to pick up. You have to leave town. There's no other alternatives.
Yeah,
And
unfortunately.
that's wrong. I'm not saying you should have
Very.
I'm not saying you should have everything you need in your neighborhood. That's basically New York or LA for you.
Yeah, that would be kind of isolationist if I'm being fully honest.
Like, if you don't live in a major metropolitan area like Los Angeles, San Francisco, New York City, your options are extreme. Oh my god. My console died.
Oh, whoops.
Or not my console, the stream died.
Oh, that's not good. That's really not good.
My fucking god, dude. We're gonna have to record these at night.
You're having that many issues?
No, it's just I have a fan directed at that thing. It's just so fucking hot.
It's so not doesn't matter, right?
It doesn't fucking matter. Pissing me off. I'll turn off this game and it'll run normal. Watch.